Oh, here we go. There we are. Forgot to open up Streamlabs this time. There's always something. You know, I could use like 3 monitors. I really could use a 3rd monitor. I don't know where I would fit it. I don't think this desk is big enough. But I could really use another one for when I'm streaming. Let's pop open all lazy and zoomy. Is it possible for me to get a, I guess not. I was looking to see if I could get, like, a list of who's watching on YouTube. Oh, I guess I can. Just gotta do this. Oh, I need to finish the storyboard for this scene. Oh, I also need to close Skype. Good grief. I had all these things open on my main monitor. I'll go ahead and join Discord today, because fuck it. I'm just moving stuff around on my other monitor. Okay. Oh, hello. You're being sleepy, head. Huh? There's not enough room on this other monitor for all this stuff. There's just not. I don't know where to put this. I'll just minimize it for now. I'm not using it. Right. So I've got an energy drink with me today. I started streaming earlier today than I did yesterday, because I don't know what, so I want to set down a, I've been saying this for, like, months now, but I want to set down a regular streaming time, and hopefully, like, nothing impedes this, you know, but I would like to do a Monday through Friday schedule. I just don't know what time. I don't know what time. People have suggested, they've been like, oh, you need to just do, like, a 9 to 5, right? Like, just do like, everyone strives to work 9 to 5, just do that. You're working on your own, so who cares? Thing is, I don't think that's a good idea, because it's not like, A, if I ever have to work around, like, a day job, that won't work, you know. But also, I don't know that that's, like, the best time of day to stream, because most other people are also, like, at work and stuff. But I also have, like, I have a weird audience, right? They're, like, all over the map. Ow, they're all in different places. They're all in, like, you know, like, some are in the UK, some are, I mean, the United States alone is like 4 different time zones too. I mean, I don't know what to do. But we'll figure it out. I'll continue to talk about it in, like, Discord, you know, and asking people. I need to just sit down at time. I think I need to just be like, yep, you know, 4 hours, 7 to midnight or something. I don't know. The tricky part is, for me anyway, right now, the tricky part is because of, like, my family, you know, whenever they eat or whatever, I gotta kind of work around that. But man, I'm having some trouble today. Yesterday was so easy. I don't know what the deal is that sometimes it's like easier to draw than others. It's like sometimes my hands just don't stay straight. It's interesting. Just gotta get in the groove. Oh, whoops. Oh, excuse me. Oh, so I skimmed what you had said, Damien. You don't have to work till around mid-March. Wow, that's crazy. But there's a lot of... you know what's funny with work schedules like that? Where, you know, you kind of have, like, bursts of... I don't know what yours is like, by the way. I'm assuming that it's, like, a lot of, you know, heavy bursts of work followed by, like, you know, lull periods. I don't know if I'd be able to take that. That's kind of what I do with Told Lost, isn't it? And I don't like it at all. Like, I wish it were more regular. And it's, I mean, that's entirely my fault, you know. It's only not regular because I haven't been treating it as such. I work at a theme park. Oh, that's right, that's right. You've mentioned that before. And I forgot. Every time someone says they work on schedules like that, right? What I always imagine is like construction contract work. Because most people do construction in, you know, like the spring or the summer. At least in like the northern hemisphere. I don't know about like, obviously, like in places like Australia, it might be backwards. I don't know, but I always think about that because everyone builds during the warmer times of the year. So, you know, if you work in like a that kind of industry, then that's when you do most of your work. So you get a lot of that kind of thing going on. I'm avoiding having to draw the train that's down here. Drawns his hands. Is that what I said? I meant to say drawns his hards. But I might not have said that. Let me look. Oh no, I said hards. I was very worried that I had said hands. Cause see, I was gonna make the stream title "Drawing Hands is Hard," but then I didn't call it that, so. What am I doing? We'll just do this. Come on. Oh, I see why. I've got the wrong layer selected. You're sick. What are you sick with, you know? I always find that to be... I find diseases interesting. in the sense that, like, your body becomes like a war zone for millions and millions and millions of life forms struggling for survival. And then, like, this is happening, and meanwhile, you know, you, on the outside are just like, oh, I've got like a runny nose. And it's just like this common problem, you know? Oh, man. Oh, that sucks, though. Your whole body aching. I'm trying to think, like, the worst time I was ever sick. I'm not sure. Need to... No, hold on. Make it just give it a little bit of an effect there. I'm trying to think of like the worst time I was ever sick, and I'm not sure. Oh really? Your scalp feels sensitive. That's a weird sign. Why do you think that is? I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Huh. Yeah, I guess so. I'm sure, like, if I were a doctor, I'd be able to tell you. Or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, I always gonna say I'm just kind of generic. When I start getting sick, it's just like the generic stuff, like, oh, I've got kind of a tingly throat or whatever, and that's it. But usually, I feel like usually I just get sick all at once when I'm gonna get sick. I might feel it coming on, maybe, but there's never that moment of like, oh no, here comes the storm, you know? So I don't know. Huh, that's interesting. It's one of those weird things. Let's copy this again. What was that? Oh, it's because I've got it open in Photoshop, that's why. It didn't like me deleting things. I find it amazing that nobody knows why. I'm sure like a scientist would be able to be like, oh well, the reigning theory is this or something, you know, or they'd be able to give some kind of educated guess, but what's weird about that is that isn't the case for everybody, isn't it? This is storyboarder. I'm making a storyboard here. I think, was it you who showed this to me? Somebody showed this program to me. I was like, you should try this, it's free. And I said, oh, okay. So I started using it. For storyboarding specifically, nothing else. Really? You don't like the sound effects? I sort of do. I don't know what it is about it. Hey, I ended up buying Lazy Nezumi. I've got that open here. It's not compatible with, it doesn't work with this program, but... I mean, look, the thing is, sometimes the stuff's good, sometimes it's not, like... Or like, it might be good, but, you know, I mean, I don't jive with it, or something. I'm not really sure how to explain why I don't, use some programs and then use others. It just depends. I like Storyboarder because, well, I'm not great with, well, I say I'm not great with storyboards. People tend to look at my storyboards and say, like, oh, this looks good. You know, like when I took my recent trip out to Los Angeles, you know, I was meeting up with, like, you know, voice actor friends and things like that. And people were saying, like, yeah, you know, you ought to move out here and just pick up a job as a storyboard artist because they get paid decently and they're always in demand. You could move out here and you'd be sitting pretty. And I was like, oh, maybe I should. I like the sounds of the pencil. Here, hold on. What can I turn on and off? Alright, I like the drawing sound effects is the thing, so... Oh, but I can still hear it. Oh, it's because I gotta restart the program, that's why. Oh, that's right. Wait, what am I doing? No, close. Oh, is this opening 2 of these at once? Dang it! Ah, fuck it, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Well, whatever. Here's the thing. I didn't have really any storyboards or anything until... Like, if I were to show off storyboards, I wouldn't show off the storyboards from episode 1, because they're not that good. Episode 2, though? Maybe. These ones are, like, people tell me these ones look professional.
Somebody should have told you. Yeah.
It's really just because of this program, and then just me... Because, see, with episode 1, I didn't do a lot of storyboarding. Like, I did some, but... This ugly chain. I mean, so, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, as I was saying, Yeah, I've only really gotten decent with storyboards recently, really recently. So it's not something that I would have advertised myself on, and I don't even know if I would say I'm great with them, regardless. But no, I should move that over a little. Oh. Ah, whatever. No, she's gonna be holding up a little calm, and I think you should be on in this hand so that let's do this. And then that arm will be folded behind your back. Hello, Mark. How's it going? Yeah. Yeah, I need to keep commissions open. I haven't announced it recently, but yeah. I showed you the page, right? I need to announce it in the Discord channel, obviously. And obviously, I need to add background commissions into that. I just haven't figured out what I want the prices and stuff to be, but yeah, if people ask me to do backgrounds, I totally would. It's just still more like like negotiation kind of phase. Here's the thing, I tend to be super nervous about doing official work like that. I have a really hard time with it. It's something that I know will get easier over time. So it's just a fair warning that, like, I may not have just the easiest easiest time of it right away. Well, that's the problem, though. I'm not somebody who, like, I wrestle with all kinds of terrible, like, confidence issues, at least lately. So, asking me to tell people what I think my time is worth, like, my initial instinct is to say, like, well, my time is not worth anything, you know, like, in my brain's like, no, you know, like, my work is not that good. People don't want my work. My time isn't worth anybody else's money, you know, so... It's not easy for me, is what I'm saying, like... So now this is funny, because, like... She has a... I don't know how this machine works. How do you make a steampunk, loudspeaker? Like, I was literally gonna just wire it into a thing. But that's a little funny. Like, they don't have electricity. Or maybe they do? I don't know. I know, look, that's the thing, Damien. I know that, right? Like, yeah, I guess it would be like she would have a, I don't know how this fucking works. She would have to, like, okay, there'd be like a big... I do have the gramophone in the one scene. It's just, I don't understand how this works. Yeah, it would have to be like one of those things you have like on a ship, right? That like lets sound into like the lower decks. I didn't have this in the other shots, which is funny. But yeah, no, it's a struggle. It's a real struggle. Like, I have always, well, I shouldn't say I've always wrestled with that kind of thing. Because I haven't. It's only been a recent development. Like, in the last, maybe... I don't know. The last few years, like, the last, like, 5 years or so. Like, I've just developed terrible anxiety and stuff. Maybe 5 to 6 years. I don't know. I'm not sure where it came from. I know a lot of it has to do with, my family. I know a lot of it has to do with, the last job I had, probably. I do know, I mean, maybe this is too personal, but, like, there was a big part of it that was, like, you know, I was working at this grocery store, and it was awful, right? Like, terrible, terrible job. But I think I relaxed myself in knowing that it was temporary. I was like, oh, this is just a stage of my life. I'm not going to be here forever. And I had real plans to move into doing, like, art and animation stuff. But I didn't really know what I was doing. And I think ToonWorks, you know, when ToonWorks kind of came together, a lot of that for me was like, oh, this is how I'm going to pursue the rest of my life. And I think after a while it became obvious that all of our goals, like me, you know, Mark, you're in the channel now, me, you, and Joey, I think all maybe had kind of different ideas and goals with where we wanted it to go ultimately. Whereas, like, I was looking more at, like, getting into it as some kind of a business and being like, let's get like a YouTube channel going, and we can all kind of just be spokes of this wheel, where the center of that wheel is TuneWorks. But you know, I think that like you and Joey were looking for something that was like you say all the time, you know, for you it's more of a hobby kind of thing, and I was always more like, I want to do this. But even then, I didn't really know what it would take to grow something like that. I didn't know what kind of time it would take, or what sort of skills it would take, or really even what I was doing, so I was running around blind as well. But I think there came a point when it became obvious that it wasn't really going in the direction that I wanted it to. And this isn't to get accusatory, because this is also on top of like me, like when we got around to like episode 3 and I had to do some animation, and I realized at the time, like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing here. It looked fine, right? Like the little scene I did looked fine, but I fell apart during that, remember? Where like I only got like half of it done, and I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I'm terrible at this. And then I started falling apart otherwise, where I started to lose faith in my ability to make backgrounds. Like that restaurant took forever for me to draw. And I really just completely collapsed, which is really sad. But it's like I said, you know, it like, push kind of came to shove, and it was just hard, and it's like, I always have a hard time believing in myself, I guess, but I don't know, like, I just kind of slowly caved in, and, you know, all I was really left with otherwise, when I was thinking, like, oh, where is this going? What am I doing with this? Do I know what I'm doing with this? And then on the other side, it's like, oh, well, here's my job here, where I'm standing at a cash register all day long. And that was terrible. Like, that was absolutely awful. And not just because it was boring or anything. I mean, like, I was legitimately beginning to question my sanity, you know, because, like, working there, like, a lot of the other people working there, you know, were just hopeless, sad people, and, you know, it was like a common thing that people would talk about how they have no future, and, you know, I started to think in these lines, I was like, this is who I am. I am Casey the cash register man. This is all I know how to do. This is all I will ever know how to do, right? And that's just what I started thinking day in and day out, and I think it just got to me after a while, so and I think just over those years I just developed like heavy depression that has just been nigh impossible to recover from. Because I mean, before I really met all of you guys, I was like a completely different person. Like, this is something that I've had to sort of recognize lately, where, you know, I mean, like, my goodness, there was a point in time when I was a hair model. It's true, and like, I have photos to prove it, you know, and I was super into it, and I was, like, kind of cocky and arrogant in my youth in those days, but it's like, you know, that person just kind of died. So, I don't know, it's weird. I've been through a lot of fluctuation, I guess, personally. Oh, I know, Rem. Well, see that, yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. You've known me since like practically since I graduated high school. When we were making maps on, I was actually thinking about bringing this up. There's one thing you said that has always stuck in my mind, Rem. And it was after I made that stupid deathmatch antenna map. We had like a competition, right, to see, me and Rem a long time ago, we were gonna get into making maps on Unreal Tournament 2004, and I remember very distinctly I made one completely made out of reused assets that I just basically piled up on top of each other. It's like, look, it's an antenna, woo, and it was interesting. And Rem did, like, we both followed the same tutorial, and I think you just took the tutorial map and just added a couple rooms to it or something. But we were both playing these maps, and remember you being like, yours is so good! And at one point, you said, you were, like, upset or sad, and said, I just hope that whenever you go off and become famous, you still remember me. And I was like, what? And then World of Warcraft came out and killed everybody's motivational drive. Oh, I know. Yeah, well, you just did the tutorial room. That's what it was. There was the tutorial where it was just like a U-shaped corridor that connected to a big room. and you just copy pasted the U shape to the other side, and then put a flag, capture the flag on either end. And there was a secret room, yeah. I mean, you did things to it that made it yours, that made it unique, but it was funny because I did the tutorial too, but then I went off and just made a giant open box. It was just a skybox, that's all it was. And in it, I literally just stacked up a giant column of reused assets, just all on top of each other, and made like a big crazy tower, and that you had to like run up and down, but people thought it was good. People were like, this is really fun, but I didn't really do any actual work or anything, you know, which is kind of the hallmark of a lot of the stuff that I would make. I would just reuse, like, I was a big asset flipper, so, I was really in love with the idea of people falling off the map and falling to their deaths, too. I liked to set things way up in the sky for no reason. No, here's something interesting, Mark. Hold on real quick. So here's something really interesting. You want to know why I got into Flash on Newgrounds? Like, what the original reason was because I was making, leading up to about 2005, like that 2004 to 2005 year, when I was making maps on Unreal Tournament, I was really getting into it, and I took it about as far as I could. Like, I was reskinning things. I was doing a lot of stuff with it that was interesting. There came a point when I think I was making original skyboxes. This all came after the fact, I believe, after I got into Flash, but there came a point when I was upset because I had gone about as far as I could without getting into 3D modeling or like something of the sort, like making my own material, right? And making my own material was hard. Like, when it comes to game design, making all the assets yourself is a lot of fucking work, you know? There were people that would come out with like one map every several months, and I would come out with a new one like every week, right? So for me, thinking like, you know, oh my god, taking like 6 or 7 months to make a map, that's terrible. I remember thinking, you know, and I remember having all these philosophies about it, but regardless, but with Flash, it was easy, right? If I wanted to make something original, all I had to do was just draw it on the screen. That's really all I had to do. If I wanted to make an asset, I could just do it there. And I think the appeal of being able to do stuff originally like that was, or yeah, just the appeal of that is what drew me into it. Because I wanted to do it to make games. I remember we found servers that ran nothing but my maps. I thought that was funny. Where they'd be like, oh, it's a Xiphon celebration server. And we're just like, what? I think it's because I did quantity over quality, though. Every once in a while I'd have a good one, but I had so many that there comes a point when it's just like, you know, it's easy to stumble across it just randomly, you know? You know, I could just copy-paste the... I don't know. It's interesting times back then. It's one of those things I hate, and this is, it's like, you know, I mean, this happens naturally. I hate how, you know, internet groups like that fall apart. There's like nothing you can do about it, right? This looks terrible. This shot. I'm just gonna copy paste it from earlier. And just flip it around or whatever. Oh. There. Whatever. I wish you could rotate in here. Whatever. Yeah, it's yeah, right. Like, well, it depends though. There's like, I'm trying to think of like recently. Well, I think World of Warcraft is the most depressing for me because I don't really count, like, I know we played World of Warcraft together, but I don't really count you as like a World of Warcraft friend because we met before that. But everybody else I met. Oh, really? I thought it had fallen apart before that, actually. I thought it fell apart around, like... Because there was a point where we all just grew distant from each other. Like, mid-Wrath, especially, it's like... We all just kind of went our separate ways. Like, we weren't, Well, no, it's because during Wrath, like, middle of the Wrath, around the time World War came out, I remember you and Demerith ended up joining a different guild. And we were all in that guild, but then I left. Oh, I see. You guys went all just to go play the games. Okay. Either way, though, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. The thing is like, I don't talk to any of those guys anymore. I don't. Everybody else I've ever met through World of Warcraft, I don't know it these days. And in fact, pretty much all of them at some point or another has had. We've had some kind of falling out that was negative or bad, right? That just leaves like a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And I know that it's because the dynamic that World of Warcraft sets up, especially when it's like you have like, I'm like a guild leader and then like everyone else are in the guild. It's like inevitably there's gonna be fights, inevitably there's gonna be power struggles. You know, I mean, it's almost like a marriage, right? Where it's like you never have a perfect marriage. And it's just like, I was really good with like organizing, like, you know, when and where progression should happen and when and where, you know, like, I think I always had a pretty good attitude with how to handle things within guilds and stuff, but where I would always fall apart was with like the interpersonal stuff, right? Where it's like, oh, somebody's mad about something, you know, like they don't like this person or they don't like that person, and I'd be like, my philosophy was always just like, we should all just get along, because like, you know, at the end of the day, if we all just work together, it doesn't really matter like whose ideas we're using or like essentially it just works. Like the game is easy enough that as long as everyone just, but then you'd always have, you know, like, well, but this or that person's bad and we should get rid of them, and I would always have like a really hard time like telling people that they weren't good at something, right? I'd always have a really difficult time kicking them out of the group or managing that side of it. Like, I needed a good cop, bad cop setup where I was the good cop and had a bad cop to back me up. But almost every single time, the bad cop eventually gets to this point where they're like, wait, why am I taking orders from you again? Why are you holding me back? And it just, you know, it just implodes. So, I don't know. You need a partner when it comes to leadership and stuff like that. Came back during Cata and got mega fucked over. Oh man. It's funny because like Cataclysm is where a lot of people stop playing, and it's like not always because like a lot of people, some people fell out of the game because the game itself was just not great during Cata, right? It's like you could make an objective claim that I think it started out good. I think that the initial content in Cataclysm was all right. I didn't have an argument with a lot of it. I didn't think there was enough of it, like raid-wise. But at the end of the day, I thought it was really challenging, and I liked what they were doing with it, and there was like a lot of good. But you know, Firelands wasn't great, or some people say it was, but it was short. And then Dragon Soul, everyone universally hates Dragon Soul. And a lot of people, or some people anyway, fell out of the game during those days because of the game itself. But I think there's like more to the story, and it's interesting on like a cultural level, right? World of Warcraft at no point was really drawing in new players. I know that sounds crazy because it had a huge player base. Oh man. Well, but yeah, like on a general, like, macro statistical scale, Cataclysm was a point in the game when, I mean, how long had the game been out? Several years at this point. But, like, when vanilla World of Warcraft and Burning Crusade came along, a lot of the people getting into it at the time were, I mean, they were mostly my age or younger, you know, so it's like you had a lot of people in, like, their early 20s, or into, like, their teenager years, right? By the time Cataclysm came out, a lot of people were moving on. A lot of those people were getting jobs and stuff. And nowadays, a lot of them have families, and they just really can't play the game anymore. But it's like that group of people, I think, just kind of had to move on, and they just had less time to deal with it. And World of Warcraft just never really picked up a new player base, you know? It just kind of was really, really popular with a certain generation, and then that was it. I think, anyway. I don't know. But I think Cataclysm marks that point in time when that group of people, that demographic, were moving into a place where they just didn't have enough time for it anymore, or they were getting tired of it, you know. So, because there's a lot of people who quit the game during Cata because they'll say they were either tired or there was just drama, you know. That could be. I mean, I guess there's another side of that argument where you have two generations of it, because it's true. When I play World of Warcraft now, most of the people I talk to came in during Wrath or Cata, now that I actually think about it. So I think, I don't know, I still think there's a division there where it's like you had your you know, vanilla classic players that kind of gave up at that point, but then the game kind of moved on with just a different crowd of people. I don't know, it's fucking weird. It's such an old game. It's such an old game that it's weird that it has these like microcosms of civilization inside of it. I don't know. It's interesting stuff though. I'm sure the answer is complicated at the end of the day. And I like to soapbox too. Like I like to get up and be like, "Oh, see, there's this really interesting point about this thing," and it's like I feel like I probably don't always give the best picture of it. So, yeah, there's probably more to it. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this on Twitter, but I've been playing it. I had been playing it in secret the last, I don't know, 6 months or something. Like, not the last 6 months. I quit for like 8 months and then went back to it, and was so embarrassed that I'd gone back to it I didn't tell anybody, and was just back into raiding and stuff. And I've kind of realized recently that like that it's not healthy for me. I have a real hard time with World of Warcraft and similar games. I know you've seen me on, but well, I took a lot of people out of my friends list because I didn't want them to know, and I didn't take you out and just forgot or whatever, and was like, oh well, fuck it, you know. But oh shit, I don't know. You could be invisible. Well, I don't know. Here's the thing. I really enjoy World of Warcraft. There's a lot of little things in the game I really like, but the thing that becomes sinister for me. The thing that becomes sinister for me is that I get to a point where I take it way too seriously. I really, really love climbing like that ladder, right? Where I'm like, oh, here's like the dungeon challenge modes, like Mythic Plus. And it's like, you know, you can complete it in certain times and get placed on like a leaderboard. And I'll be like, oh shit, I'm gonna get really fucking good at this, and I'm gonna climb that leaderboard and get placed and be respected. And I know, again, this goes back to like, you know, depression and stuff, right? Where it's like, I know I do it because it's one of the only ways I get a burst of feeling important, really. You know, it's like, oh, I could be good at this thing and then people will respect me, right? It's really frustrating because I ought to be applying that kind of energy towards this, what I'm doing right now. Really, because it's like, you know, well, here's the thing. In stuff like World of Warcraft, it has that short-term satisfaction of accomplishing something and feeling good at something when you're good at it. But like I said, I really should be applying that to stuff like Total Lost, because really, at the end of the day, if I want to be respected for something, if I want to be doing something meaningful, it's this, you know. But it's also hard. I mean, well, I don't know. I say it's hard. It's complicated. It's a complicated picture. It's hard and it isn't. I can talk all day long about, you know, how to really master this sort of field. Of course, talking about it and doing it are two different things. But either way, yeah, it takes a lot longer. It's a lot more slow going. But yeah, like that rush I'll get after working for 8 hours straight, animating and really accomplishing something and feeling like I did something. It's like a special kind of high, you know. How the fuck do I hardcore? There's always like at least one guild that will be like pushing to be really good, even on RP servers. So it's like I'll usually seek them out and be like, hey, I'm gonna raid. So, and then I'll always wind up taking it really, really seriously and really getting into it, you know. But that's how I am with anything, you know. It's like, that's why I say it's dangerous, because getting a shoe ad. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, Damien. We've been talking about video game addiction. Yeah, I don't know. It's really funny because I really like, as full of toxic shit as it is, I really like the RP community on Worm Rest Accord as well. I mean, that's where Valderos came from, right? As a character. I developed him by role-playing. I played a contentious, grouchy mage who was a dragon. And it's like... And I really, really enjoyed it. Playing this character who, like, takes everything... Who gets, like, way too into the math and science on every single fucking issue. And it was more of a joke, but, like, you know, it got really, really good. There ended up being really, really good story arcs with it that, for the most part, were developed on the spot, you know, through, like, you know, in roleplay, everything's always on the spot, you know. Whether you're doing, like, a Dungeons & Dragons style thing or whatever. And I couldn't get enough of it. It was really, really good. There are story arcs that happened that I want to somehow translate into Toll of the Lost at some point or another. There were some that were also stupid, or there were some that were good, but like I don't know how I would pull it off necessarily without it being ridiculous. But there were some really, really good things. It's unfortunate because a lot of the people that I used to do it with no longer really play, or I would run across somebody whose character I really liked, and then we would talk a lot, and then they would be aware of Toll of the Lost, I'd be aware of what I'm doing, but then like they would stop talking or we would fall out of contact, which is just how it goes, which is also sad because like, you know, a lot of them were really good writers, you know. He looked like a humanized Canthos in a cloak. Well, the dragon thing was because people told me not to do it. People said, oh, you know, that's like a big taboo, you know, don't do that. And I was like, fuck all you guys. I'm gonna do it anyway, you know. I wanted to do something that people said was something you shouldn't do, you know, and like really explore it. And it was fun. Like I really enjoyed playing. It's funny because like, you know, when I first got into it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this character like Doctor Who, right? Like the Doctor from the show, and have a lot of fun because he's like a time traveling dragon guy. In World of Warcraft, because he's a bronze dragon, and the bronze dragon fight in World of Warcraft are like the masters of time. So. But then, like, you know, so that's you know, that's what I did. But then, like, after a while, I decided to make him grouchier and grumpier and stuff, and it kind of evolved from that. Like, originally, it was very much like Matt Smith's version of the Doctor, right? Or like a David Tennant kind of style character. But then, like, you know, I got more into it and started to figure out more what, you know, I wanted the character to be like and stuff. And then ironically, friggin' Doctor Who started ripping me off. Like, they made Peter Capaldi basically just Falteros. It's also funny, I was talking to Edwin the other day, actually, about Doctor Who. We watched the Christmas special, right? So we were talking about how awful Doctor Who is. Every time a new episode comes out, me and Edwin, he's a voice actor. He's a great voice actor. He's in episode 1, he plays Parachronox, Valdoros's brother. We will always watch, I won't spoil it, but we always watch episodes of Doctor Who when it comes out. And then we go and bitch about it later, or we're just like, this show sucks, you know? But we always go back and we always keep watching it. I have such a guilty pleasure for that show. No, I won't spoil anything in it. And to be like, okay, here's what I will say. I'm just giving it a rating. I'm not saying anything about the story. I'm just saying how I thought it was good compared to. Have you seen any of the recent episodes? Like, I thought the season finale was terrible. The first episode of that season finale was really good, I thought. World Enough in Time. Oh, Heaven Sent and Hellbent are really fucking good. Hellbent or no, is it which one's the one where he's stuck in the Clockwork Tower for like a million years or whatever? I don't remember which one that is. It's one of those two, but. Either way, that one's excellent. Another really excellent one is World Enough in Time, which is the first part of the two-parter season finale for the season after that. So I guess you haven't seen that. I won't spoil anything in it. That episode's also really, 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 really good. Where Stephen Moffat's like at his best. But yeah, there's some really bad episodes in this last season, like laughably bad. Which is really sad. It's like, I hate when that show gets insultingly bad, you know? Like, So here's one thing I will say about this last season. There's a lot of, like, socio-political stuff going on that really bothered me because it's like, I don't mind that stuff, you know? Like, I don't mind when this show is like, hey, let's talk about, you know, current events, you know, whatever. Oh, Sleep No More. Okay, well, here's the thing. Sleep No More is bad in, like, a whole... It's, like, in, like, an incredibly dumb way. Like, I think that episode is hilarious for how stupid it is. Like, at first I was mad, but now when I talk about it, I'm like, that episode is ridiculous, and it's like, I almost recommend people to watch it just because it's so stupid. But, no, the newest season gets, like, really, really heavy-handed. And not even in the ways you might expect, either. But it's like, for example... Okay, so here's, like, for example... the Doctor's companion in the last season is a black lesbian university kid. Which is whatever, I'm like, fine. And by the way, I like her character. I think she's great. I love her. But the thing I don't like is every single episode, they're like, guess what everyone, she's gay! And they have to, like, make a joke about it. Just constantly. Like, they can't just... There was a point in time when Doctor Who was, like, a character would be homosexual, and, you know, it would come up in conversation or something, but you wouldn't have people doing, like, double takes and it being like, what? Like, it would just be a part of the universe, you know? And I felt that was very respectful. Whereas here, it's like, they have to take a baseball bat and smash you over the head with it, over and over and over and over. And it's just one of the things that they do, and it really bothered me the whole time. It's like fourth wall breaking in a way. So the last season was full of a lot of that kind of stuff. But there was a few good episodes in it regardless. I don't know. I'm kind of glad to just wipe the slate clean at this point. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? That's what they're doing. They're treating it like, you know, like as if their audience gives a shit, for one. Like people in the... I mean, if you watch Doctor Who, you're probably not somebody who is, like, very taken aback by people being homosexual, right? Right, like, you're not somebody who is like, losing your mind and having your mind blown that gay people exist. If you watch Doctor Who, you're probably, like, a younger person, you know, these days, anyway. It's a fairly progressive show, so... So it's weird that the show feels it has a need to treat its audience like this would be the first time they've ever seen a gay person in the show or something. I don't know. It's my 2 cents on it. But and that's me focusing on one thing. There's a lot of things in it that I think were just ridiculous. You'd think that, Mark. You'd think that... You know what I think? I think that they are... I think that they think they're being, like, I don't know what the word for this is, because we're seeing a lot of this nowadays, where media, especially when you have, like, media that's owned by, or run by, like, very established rich people, just being, like, very, you know, like, aren't we hip and cool, everybody? Yeah, like, and that's what it feels like, you know, it doesn't feel authentic. It feels like a bunch of cynical executives being like, this is what kids like these days, isn't it? You know? That's how it comes off to me. Like, they can't just tell a good story. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, is nobody does. Nobody acts like that. But, like, apparently they think they do. So, yeah, I don't know. Either way, I still like Doctor Who. It's a good show. It's funny because, like, this was as much my point about Jodie Whittaker taking up the role of the Doctor. So the Doctor has a female lead now, right? The newest regeneration leaves him as a woman, which is fine. And I remember saying this, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I want to see where they go with this. Like, this will be really interesting. Well, I mean, at the same time, I don't want them to just be like, you know, this is the most important thing on the planet or whatever, you know, like this is the most unique thing to ever happen. But I like that they're doing this essentially. But it's like, what was I gonna say with this? I'm trying to remember. Oh, one thing I don't like though is how, like, the way they're treating it is like, we don't give a shit about the accomplishment that actress has had to play this character. We don't like we don't like that, you know, like no one's really praising her for her skills or her ability. It's just, oh, she's a woman, that's amazing. And it's like, well, if it were me, I would be insulted, right? Like, if I were picked to play a major character in something, I would be excited to do that. I wouldn't want it to just be like, let's say, like, I'm gay, right? So, like, you know, let's say somebody basically put me up as the cheerleader for something to represent their product, and really the only reason they did it is because I'm gay. I would be mad, right? I would be like, this undermines, like, everything that I have worked to accomplish in my life, you know? So, I don't know. It's like, the meta-commentary side of it I dislike. So, yeah, well, okay, maybe. I guess it depends on where you're coming from, too, because, like, I didn't hear a lot of that. But it could just be entirely because, like, I'm just not looking at the right sources or something, so I don't know, but... Either way, it is a wipe the slate clean moment, but I want to see what they do with it moving forward. I don't know, all the socio-political stuff. It's dangerous to get into on the internet, but I really do feel this way about some things. I think that we could do better with how we represent our media, or how our media represents us. And I don't just mean us as in, like, you know, like, gay people or women or whatever. I just mean people in general, you know? I made that joke. I made that joke. Well, my joke was I was telling somebody like, oh, the Doctor regenerated into a woman, and the first thing he did was crash the TARDIS. Oh, but it was a joke. It was made in irony. I think the Doctor crashes the TARDIS every time he regenerates, doesn't he? Matt Smith definitely did. It's not even because she didn't even crash it. It's because the regeneration blew up the inside of the TARDIS again. That's why. Here's something crazy. I watched a thing online that was wondering if the TARDIS was going to be in the next season. Imagine if they did something like that. Could you fucking imagine? Because see, like, at the end of that episode that, you know, that she falls out of the TARDIS or whatever, and they were saying, like, you know, what if the Doctor is stuck on Earth without a TARDIS? And it's like, I was thinking about that, and I was like, that'd be crazy. I mean, on the one hand, like, that's like killing off a major part of the show. But on the other hand, it's like, whoa. Oh, hello, Vistalgian Animation. How's it going? We're sitting here talking about Doctor Who and socio-political activism. Remember when they made the TARDIS a woman? Here's a question: do you think they'll make the companion? Also, by the way, thank you, Vistalgian Animation, for the compliment. I didn't mean to dismiss you there. I'm just storyboarding right now. I have a scene that I'm animating and working on simultaneously, but I need to finish the storyboard. So, that's what I'm doing. The companions are already promoed. Oh. I was gonna ask, like, do you think they'll make the companion male this time? Because that's been one of those things, right? Where it's like they, Like, I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will. Like, I'm curious if they would. Like, I want them to, personally, only because, like, I think if you're gonna gender flip the main character, you ought to gender flip the other tropes as well. Personally, that's just what I think. I don't know if they will, though, because, like... But see, then again, I thought they were gonna keep, Bill Potts on, and they didn't. She's out of the show. I don't know, but who is who in this? I mean, there's Jodie Whittaker, but then there's like some other woman and two guys I don't recognize. Are they all companions, or are they just... How are they gonna do this? So here's something. I liked in David Tennant's run how they had, like... There was like a new companion every single season. That was something under Moffat that they didn't really do. It was just Amy and Rory for the longest time. Yeah, they've done multiples before, which is fine, and I kind of like that dynamic more. Like, for example, I liked Amy. Is that her name? Yeah, Amy Pond. I liked her more when Rory got on board. It's also like I liked in this newest season how they had the Dr. Nardole and Bill were like they were like a trio. I feel like a trio works really, really well in that series. I'm just gonna move this over so it's actually attached to the train car. Like it's supposed to be. And I guess I should move this over. Oh. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily matter, like, I mean, you know, when I go to draw this in earnest in the actual episode here, it'll be fine, because I'll be able to just, you know, I'll be able to do it the way I want to do it. I just need to make sure that I have everything framed and stuff the right way, and I gotta make sure that, you know, it's whatever, who cares, it's fine. Okay, so the camera needs to pull back so we get a low angle of the front of the train. So which means... What's this picture supposed to show? Is the TARDIS changing or something? It looks the same to me. It's just more desaturated, but I mean, that could just be because of the lighting. I don't see anything different about it. Oh shit, I guess there is something different though. The windows are different, aren't they? And the little sign underneath the door. Do they really give each actor / actress a different TARDIS? That seems like a bit much. The door is now a different shade of green. Huh. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I didn't know that it mattered. Oh, wow. It's interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense. You're gonna be replacing the prop, you know, as time goes on. I wonder what so they haven't changed the interior of the TARDIS in a long time. I know that sounds ridiculous because they did redecorate it, but the they kept the same, because like, so you remember Matt Smith's, right? Like his original one, which was like the orange looking one on the inside, and then eventually they changed it to that blue one whenever he became depressed towards the end of his season, that had like the spinning thing in the roof. They actually kept that through Capaldi's run. They didn't really change Capaldi's interior of the TARDIS almost at all. They just added some bookshelves and chalkboards and stuff. So I'm curious what they're gonna do here with Jodie Whittaker, you know? I want them to do something radical, is the thing. I want them to, like, really fucking change it up on the inside, because they haven't done it in a while. Dang it. I don't know how this crane stays attached, by the way. I'm gonna have to do some thinking about this. Because it's supposed to fold down as this backs away. This is probably fine. I know these train cars don't... The size and stuff here isn't consistent, but... I'm trying more to get, like, the perspective. They didn't, though. Look, that's the same... It ends up being the same for both of them. They just did a little bit of remodeling. Yeah, like, look, that's the same... It's the same set, essentially. They didn't really do anything to it. Like, compare that to what? Compare that to, like, the seasons 5 and 6, you know? I saw this part in my head so clearly, and now I'm like, What a storyboard panel! Oh yeah, but I mean they didn't change, like, they didn't redesign the set or anything, which they did do between David Tennant and Matt Smith, you know. Yeah, you can share an image, should be fine. Oh wow, that's neat. What am I doing here? This looks terrible. Hold on. Oh, did we? Ooh. Oh, it's gone all Star Trek. Are you sure that's not just Star Trek? Because that... What? That is just Star Trek, isn't it? Fucking Christ, I knew it was just Star Trek. Look, I was looking at it like, well, that could be the TARDIS interior. Because of that thing in the middle. You know, like, I was like, oh, I guess. That's funny. This doesn't look much like a train, does it? Because I wanted to incorporate the fire elemental engine globe in the front. How do I want this to look? It needs to look more blocky is the problem. I was thinking of doing like a... You know, like it's... Here, hold on, let me make this smaller. Let me draw a better circle. See, I was thinking of doing something and then like having a like a front piece. That then connects into the back of the train, but... I don't know, I've never really watched TNG, that's the thing. See, I don't know if I like this design. It needs to... Hold on, everybody! I'm looking for something. Ah! I can make it look like this. Yeah, if you had shown me that, I would have assumed that was it. Because I've never seen the... I never really watched TNG. I've only really watched through Voyager. Yeah, I want to do something like this. I'm going to use this as a concept. Like, you know, I just use the ball at the top as, like... Well, okay, so, like, the reason why we're using a circle, circles represent control, which is why the fire elemental is caged in a globe. I just like this train because it was tall. So I would do something like... Here's a new companion. So yeah, maybe do something like this. But maybe bring out the front a little so it's not straight up and down. This is called Storyboarder. I'm using it in conjunction with Photoshop. It's a free program, it's pretty good. So I typically use Adobe Animate, Audition, Premiere, After Effects, and Photoshop all in conjunction, but when I'm storyboarding I use this. This doesn't look great. What did I think of Lloyd 6? I actually had some specific thoughts about it that I can't remember. I watched the commentary too, and I think this was brought up. I thought so criticisms. I thought that the cuts were a little awkward, where it's like you would hear a person talking in the next scene before you actually see the scene. Like, I think it happened like 3 or 4 times. You mentioned that you were going for like a specific thing and it just didn't quite work out, which I can respect, because I'm doing something like that in Total Lost Episode 2, where I'm not sure if this thing I'm going to do is going to work out perfectly, but I'm still trying it anyway just to experiment. So there was that. I thought, like, honestly, I felt like it ought to have been longer, which is weird because Lloyd tends to have a lot of scenes that are very drawn out, where there's like a lot of dialogue, which is more in the writing than it is in the animation. But it's like it almost needed to be longer with more. I don't know. It's like a lot of my criticisms of it are more in the writing, I think. But I guess the reason why I thought about it is because in the commentary, or maybe it was after it was finished, I don't remember specifically what, but Joey was saying that, and actually I think this was on Twitter, where he goes, you know, sorry these episodes take so long to make, you know, they're longer than we wanted them to be or something. And then watching it, I was thinking, like, really a lot of this stuff needs more room to breathe. Like, a lot of it feels rushed, to me anyway, on Brad's behalf. So, but it's not necessarily a question of length. It's confusing because you could just make it longer, but then, like, a lot of the individual scenes already feel long. Like, they already feel longer than they need to be. But it's like each of the individual segments, I feel, needed more to them, or they needed more. I think it's that it needed more payoff for, like, a lot of the more. It's like, oh, here's Nuki's, you know, king or whatever, from another planet. Oh, he's dead, and it's like, oh, like, I wish we could have done more with that, you know. But that's more of a writing thing. There's not much you specifically can do about it. The L cuts were a little weird, But, you know, whatever. Other than, I mean, like, other than that, it's fine, you know, like, well, it's only a thing I bring up because I know that it's a thing that was protested early on, where it was like episode like 1 or 2, or I think it was just like 1, where I remember Joey was saying that this is too long, this stuff is too long, it needs to be shorter, there needs to be less action and stuff going on. So it's like I don't know, I think that like in some of these cases it should have been the other way around. Length is so difficult to talk about though, because like length of something is one of those things where it's kind of arbitrary. Well, but see, again, that's the thing, right? In Wonders Episode 4, a lot of those scenes are very drawn out and long, right? Like, but they work very, very well. Like, a lot of people say that they think Episode 4 of Wonders is the best one. And it's because, like, what's happening in those scenes is interesting. Oh gosh. Speaking of which, get out of here. Yeah, you need to let a scene breathe, but at the same time it's confusing because, like, I don't know, it's length is such an arbitrary discussion. It's really difficult to get it right. And it's like really impossible to know what the right length of something is. So I don't know. I mean, I could watch it again and give you like a better, you know, like, oh, okay, here's like specific thoughts I have about animation stuff, but nothing is like when I watch the commentary and like, for example, Joey pointed out the eyelid thing, right? It's like an animation error. I hadn't even noticed it, you know? So it's like, you know, I don't know, like, it's things where, like, I wasn't even, I guess I don't really pay attention too much to animation and stuff, so, I don't know. We can start putting dead bodies in movies. The YouTube vlogger crowd? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, how about that drama, by the way? With freaking, was it Jake or Logan Paul? I don't know which of them it is. Which is funny because I actually follow like YouTube drama stuff. It came across a corpse in the woods and filmed it. What? Oh my god. Yeah, right, Rem? You know what that comes off as to me? It reminds me quite a bit of, like... Do you remember with the remake of The Thing or whatever? Where some producer was like, we need to make it look more like video games, because video games are popular, or whatever, so they, like, ruined all the special effects to make it look like video games. Oh, is that what he did? I don't know much about it. I thought they were just filming in the woods. Honestly, I kind of keep away from the Paul brothers. I think they're annoying. Oh, wow. So that's, like, even worse. I'm trying to raise awareness. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. One of my favorite stories is when he went to, after the hurricanes, he went to one of the places that was flooded by the hurricanes and was going around on his jet ski to like save people. And, you know, obviously filming everything. And, like, his jet ski broke down, and he was lost. And he, like, calls up his buddies to be like, oh, I need you guys to come save me. And they're all basically just like, oh, we're busy. We're going down to the bar or whatever. And they just left him out there, and he's like, what do I do now? And he eventually had to, like, have a helicopter come in and rescue him, even though he'd gone out there to save people.
Me like a piano. You show me I had something. People call on.
So this last shot will be much more dramatic in the final version, to be honest. I should have done this in the darker ink, but whatever. I wanted it to be more low angle too, but I didn't really draw it like that. So whatever, it's fine. It's fine. And then this cuts to the opening credits. It was train whistle goes off and stuff, and it's dramatic. So that's done. I guess what I have to do now is they just added the feature to put audio on these too. Which I guess I could do, but... well, I need to put it into... I mean, we could just watch it, but none of the stuff is paced out right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... export... if I can remember how to do it. We need to bring it into Premiere is the thing. Ah, here we go. Let's save this and close it. Because I got to put the audio in too. So when I storyboarded the last scene I was doing, I did this step as I was making it, but... This will be Scene 1 animatic. TNTL, Episode 2, Scene 1. I don't think I named this correctly. But, whatever. Oh my goodness, what was that? Hold on, I gotta go check. Oh, the Mark just subscribed. I didn't recognize what the noise was! Well, thanks for the subscription! Oh, Ramirez has gifted a sub tier 1 to 13 now! That's what my stream label says. I really hate that you don't get paid for the subscriptions and stuff on Twitch until you make at least $100, and then it's the month after that that they sent out the money. Audio. Oh, let's see. I have a lot of, well, we have all the mix downs. I'll just... all the temporary mix downs. I'll just do this. It's fine. Are these not in order? What's going on here? Oh no, they're not. That's annoying. Let's try this a different way. How does this work? I want to stream Monday through Friday, but let's see, that didn't work. Let's try. What happens if I just do this? I know there's a way where it'll just like automatically put everything onto the timeline the way it's supposed to. Oh shit. This might actually just be it right here. Ah. Cool, alright, so I just gotta put the audio into this and then time everything up correctly. We'll get around to it, we'll get around to it. I need to... Oh, what's this? Recent donors... Oh, it's because... I know why, never mind. It's because the recent donors thing is reset since it's been a month since I got any donations. See, and I would have more donations if I'd keep fucking streaming, you know. But I always stop. I stop and fall apart, and it doesn't help anybody. Where was I now? Right, I'm working on this. I should have just made one track of all of this. This is going to be hard to edit. I guess I still could, actually. We'll bring this up. Okay. I should make a Total Lost shirt, but I don't know what it would say or what I would do with it. I gotta make more episodes so I can create more memes and things, you know. Sorry, I'm opening up a new. Okay. So yeah, see, already I can tell that there's some visuals here that are pushing the This is not going to be very accurate. It just can't be. So it's 25 seconds before anything happens. This seems like a bit much. Yeah, look how slow this pan down is. This whole sequence could be going a little bit quicker. It should be every 2 seconds, if I remember, if I recall. Why are we quoting Half-Life? Well, I don't understand. Okay. Oh, the 24-second intro. Yeah, it's a bit much. So let's try... Just try cutting it in half, right? So it's... Oh, you know what? So Audition will be a little bit longer, but... Bah! Obviously, this will wind up feeling very much different in the future, like in the final product, but I'm trying to get a rough idea about how long the scene will be, so, you know.
Bah! This fog is banding our vision tatters in a...
This ought to be shorter.
This fog is banding our vision... This fog is banding our vision...
What the fuck happened? I know what happened, but how do I... What? What? Go back! There we go.
Banning our vision tattoo center. Let's go set.
Oh, come on.
Vision tattoo center. Let's go set.
If you
Excuse me.
if you relate one more thing to men's clothing,
I prefer the frame hold because I can then just drag it out as long as I like. What? Oh, the audio that's there? Yeah, that's a good point. It didn't used to have audio. No, I don't want to record. No, stop. Stop! Storyboarder didn't used to add audio like this. Oh, jeez.
Set.
No, stop. Goodness gracious.
This fog is banning our vision tattoo center. Let's go set.
you like one more thing than clothing or your luggage.
Yeah, I know how to do it. I just, you know, I was fiddling around with it a little bit too much.
I'm surprised you've had this long, honestly. Want to put the boy out. It's long, honestly. I already want to burn down this entire wretched forest. You want to burn down a wretched forest. Entire wretched forest.
Hey, pipe down! We agreed you got down. We agreed. We agreed you got us out of here. We let you go.
Yeah, sorry, I'm used to clicking on it. Well, yeah, I have a tablet that I use for drawing. Right now I'm at my keyboard, so... I don't use the tablet for editing Premiere, obviously. I just don't know what the hotkeys are, and I've never really used them, so I'm just not used to them.
Out of here, we let you go.
Do not mind.
Yeah, it's just C and V. Oh, I'll get used to that for now.
He's just agitated. That for one. He can't simply ramble. For once, he cannot simply ramble his way out of the situation.
Oof, this is a long shot.
He's agitated that for once. The provider. He's just agitated that for once.
I wonder if this should come over here, actually.
How are you?
Oh.
Do not mind the rap.
Whoa, what happened here?
Do not
I'm great.
at once. He cannot. Do not mind the reptile. He's just agitated that, for once, he cannot simply ramble his way out of a situation. He cannot simply ramble his way out of a situation.
There's a lot of space there.
Ramble his way out of a situation.
I'm agitated because I'm forced to listen to the inane
Hold on.
bickering of faithless humans.
Situation.
I'm agitated because I'm forced to listen to the inane bickering of two feckless humans.
Okay.
Hey, you want to...
So there's another shot here that's not... Where is it?
Humans.
Honeys, Casey, honeys!
As humans.
Hey, you want to say that one more time? One more time?
Why?
Okay, where's that shot at? Horny single. Horny hotkeys.
Why?
Whoops.
Do you not know what feckless means? Means to be transient. You know, fella.
I like the scene where he's just tied up to the top of the car. I think it's funny. Like Beverly Hillbillies style.
Mind the reptile. He's just agitated that, for once, he cannot simply ramble his way out of a situation.
I'm agitated because I'm forced to listen to the inane bickering of two feckless humans.
Hey, you want to say that one more time?
Why? Do you not know what feckless means? Allow me to be trenchant. It means incompetent, inept, bad.
R is for nipple. What are you talking about over here? I'm gonna keep doing it like I'm doing it for now. I'll explore it in the future when I'm not on a stream or something. Just because this is how I know how to do it, and I'm not gonna sit here fiddling around with like with something new while I'm like, you know, I'm in the middle of working on camera and stuff. I know from experience that I'll just sit here getting frustrated and then not doing anything right. Like I need some time by myself without people in the chat talking at me and stuff.
Inept, bad.
You know, I think I'm starting to figure out why overgrown.
Why does it cut back to this shot? Hold on.
You know.
Oh, I know why. Hold on.
You know.
It's because there's a cut here.
I'm starting to figure out why.
Like, using the hotkeys is one thing. Like, that's something I just have to get used to doing, but using, like, a new method of editing or something, like I said, I don't want to sit here and be getting frustrated and stuff. Yeah, you say that, but it's still a new process I have to get used to doing.
No, I think I'm starting to figure out why you overgrown iguanas all die.
Oh, whoops.
Figure out why. You overgrown iguanas all died off.
As if you know anything about... anything about... Wait, died off?
There really should be another frame or another storyboard here of him looking confused, but I just never bothered to draw it.
You know anything about what died off?
Oh, I've lost my cursor. Where'd it go? Oh, alright. See you later, Rem.
Died off?
Everyone, because your mouse. Slaughter mouse. System. Just insect.
Wait, what? Something goofy happened here. Wait, no, that's fine. Whoop.
stop. Oh, stop it. We all know you can't see anything.
Well.
We all know you can't see anything.
What do we have here?
I don't know what this is. Yeah, I don't. I hit R to see what this does, and it's.
Well, what do we have here? Trappers? Adventurous?
Where's that? We're almost through it anyway.
You address Louis Legrand. You. Fame explorer and one of his opponents. This
There's another take of this line that I might use instead. But... Oops. So we're gonna need to...
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, I'm fried. Soft mattress? Yeah, that could have been it. Could have been the soft mattress, or it could have been the midnight rape, or the nudity art show that took place in my room. One of those probably added to the lack of sleep. Try one of these scones, you're gonna love them. I'm a little too traumatized to have a scone.
Suddenly, the storyboards are of a much better quality. Oh, that almost cuts right perfectly by mistake. Uh-oh. Looks like my internet is having some issues.
Prince of Thieves. And darling, don't flatter yourself. Don't flatter yourself. Not my opponents. You're my opponents.
I'm just checking the time so far. Looks like this will be about 3 minutes long. Or maybe 2.5. It's about how long the first scene is in the first episode, so that's right on par.
Prince of Thieves. Not my opponents. You're my victims.
And that's at a first pass too. Like we might edit things down or change things.
Let's go for my
Oh, the shouting.
Let us go before I put my axe through your scrawny little neck.
You know. Yeah, that's fine, whatever.
Oh, the insult. The violence. I almost feel proper threatened. Feel threatened. Drop them in proper threatened. Then
Oh, see you later, Mark. Have a good one. drop them into cargo 5. Good old video editing.
This 5 and bring the bond to my office. Blonde one to my bond. Blonde one to my office. Blonde one. Office. Face.
I'm almost there. Oh, so yeah, 2 minutes and 40 seconds ish. I'm gonna go ahead and make a export this. Export media. All right. Ugh, well, that was exciting, wasn't it? 2.5 hours of streaming there. Oh, now why is this all messed up? Well, cool, now I can start at a new storyboard, I guess. I won't do it today, I'm gonna close this, in fact. I'm gonna close Photoshop, too. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream there. It looks like my internet is having some issues anyway. I'm dropping frames like crazy all of a sudden, so... I'll see you guys later. You have a good rest of the night. And, you know, have a good one.